Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Tuesday. I'm sorry, Hump Day, Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Hey, Frankie, how are you? You're number one today. Filthy Breakfast, you're number two. Blunt Ninja, number three. Hey, Shelby, number four today. And everyone listening over on any of the other streaming platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, welcome. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone. Today's show is going to be a bit different. Hey, Minnesota, welcome. Hey, Brina. Welcome, welcome. So, guys, today is going to be a little different today. It's not going to be a long show. This is going to be a fairly a short show. But I just wanted to just share a couple of things with you guys. And I know yesterday when we were talking about children, and then I asked you guys, do you ever think about your children and where they would be if you were not here? Well, yesterday afternoon, a friend of mine called, and I did call Minnesota after the phone call to tell her I wanted to discuss her brother, because he's who I'm going to talk about, and she was fine with it. Minnesota, or tell you guys the backstory. Minnesota's brother was involved in a hit and run accident in Minnesota over the summer. And I have known Minnesota and her family for quite some time. I met Minnesota's brother when I was 14, and actually I was 13 and he was 14. I met him at the hospital when I was going through one of my speech therapy classes, and we just started talking and we hit it off. And through that relationship, our families met. My parents, were always at the hospital. Either it was my mom or my dad, mostly my dad, and Minnesota's brother was there going through some things. So I've known him for a very long time. And when the accident happened, I, I mean, you have those friends where you drop everything for. And her brother is one of those people. You know, Minnesota's family is one of those families that you drop everything for. When I heard about the accident, I immediately flew out to Minnesota. And at one point, the accident was so bad. There were four. There were, other than Minnesota, there were three other people involved in the accident. But of course, the driver, as usual, walks away. Um, there's some legalities going on and what have you, but Minnesota's brother got the worst of it. He was in the hospital for 2 months. So, but at the beginning when he was there, they didn't think he was going to make it. And the family asked me to give the eulogy. And, you know, you go through your life knowing someone, you know, but again, death is something that you just don't think about. So fast forward, you know, he's out of the hospital. Thank goodness. He's not 100%, but he is getting there. And he called me last night, and we were talking. We were on the phone for about 2 hours, and he was talking about death, and he was talking about how his mother told him about the plans that they were making for him if he didn't make it. And one thing that he said to me was the title of this show: Death Finds You When It's Time for Your Appointment. And that made me look up a couple of things. And going to a Lutheran school growing up, we learned a little bit of Latin, whatever. And memento mori means remember you will have to die. That's Greek, Latin, remember you will have to die. And again, I don't mean to be morbid or anything, and that's not where I'm going to take this show. But I wanted you guys to know why I am doing this particular show and why I chose this particular topic. I'm not afraid of death because I know that that's part of life. You live, you die. Some people die when they're born. Some people live to be 100. Some people live to be 110, 120. Through our life, we are going to meet people who are going to pass before us, and we're going to pass before others. But I want to tell you guys a story, and this is a parable, and it's about death. Many years ago, a king in Baghdad sent his son to the market for provisions. When the son got there, when he was there, the son saw a man he recognized as Death. Death looked him in the face, but he didn't say anything. The son was so frightened, he hurried home and told his father that he saw Death. Well, the father, who was the king, went to the market, and when he found the man, he saw the man was indeed Death. And he asked Death, he said, "Why did you frighten my son?" And Death said, well, before I tell you what Death said, there's one thing that I left out. The son was so afraid of Death that he got on his horse and he rode 75 miles to a town called Samara. So when the father confronted Death and said, why did you frighten my son? Death said, I was surprised to see him here in Baghdad. I have an appointment with him in Samara tonight. And again, it's a parable, but again, it's just to tell you that no matter what we do, no matter where we go, we can't escape death. Welcome, GP Matt. People do all kinds of things in life. They want to freeze themselves. We do all kinds of things. We take vitamins. We work out. We get transplants. We go to the doctor. We get shots. We get surgeries. We think we're living this healthy lifestyle to prolong life. But are we prolonging life, or are we trying to push death as far back as possible? Because when your heart stops, that's considered natural causes. If you just go to sleep one night and don't wake up, your heart stopped. You didn't have a heart attack, whatever, your heart just stops. That's natural causes. And we don't know when that's going to happen. And when you look around and see, what we're doing, we go on TikTok, we lip sync to songs, end up getting, 2,000, 3,000 views. We videotape people getting attacked. We, videotape people, running down the street, run into a wall, and, we think it's funny. And we're racking up all these likes. And as Sabrina said the other day, some people, you just want the likes. But when we are so attached to social media, and all of us are in some way, somehow, we all are. Some of us may spend all our time on TikTok. Some of us may spend all our time on Facebook, whatever. Some of us, the way our life is right now, the way society is right now, we are in some way, all of us, addicted in one way or another to social media. Just coming on Podbean every day. How many people go from show to show to show to show? Before all of this noise, people read books. They listened to music. They went outside. They went for walks in the park. How many of us, see when we come home from work or on a Saturday or whatever, we look outside and you see girls jumping rope. You don't see that anymore. Growing up, that's all we did. We played double dutch, we played four square. We were outside, and we came in when the street lights came on. Now you can barely get kids to, get off the sofa because they're playing a video game. Instead of giving children books to read, you're putting a cell phone in their hand. And I'm talking about when they're little. I'm talking about before they're even one. If they can hold the phone, to shut your kid up, as some people would say, you're giving them a phone. And after the conversation that I had with my friend last night, and we talked about a lot of this. And welcome, Sports Sofa. And you look around, and one day you're going to be older, maybe you'll get to be middle-aged or elderly or just old. Maybe you won't. Maybe you won't get past the age of 16. Maybe you won't get past the age of 15. But do you want to wake up one day and wish that you had done things differently. And I know yesterday's show we were talking about, would you have done things differently for your child? But I'm just saying, would you have done things differently? You know, a lot of us have ambition, but a lot of us are imprisoned by our ambition. A lot of us are chasing that almighty dollar so much that we don't have time to spend it and enjoy it. I mean, there are 117 billion people who have lived and died on this planet. That's a lot of people. And we're part of it. We're part of the living part. But one day we'll be part of the died part. And we don't know when that is. I mean, I think about people who have cancer or some other ailment where they're going to die. And even though they may know that they may only have 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, they kind of know, but they don't know. They still don't know that date. And sometimes when you talk to people like that, they try to I was about to say prolong it. They try to get their bucket list in. Why don't we do our bucket list now? Why do we wait? Do we make excuses for things that we should have done or things that we wanted to do? Do we blame it on the job? Do we blame it on our spouse? Do we blame it on our kids? Well, I can't do this because of my child. I can't do this because, my husband, my wife, my mom, my dad. Life is short. Life really is short. I remember, I remember when I turned 13 and I couldn't wait to be 16. I remember my 18th birthday. I remember when I turned 21. I remember, when you think about your life, it looks like it was yesterday. But as you get older and older and the years go by faster, of course, when you're little, it takes forever. It seems like, for that next birthday to come around. Now they're coming around too fast. Life is just such a mystery. Every day is a mystery. We can plan what we want to do. I can plan to do this podcast every day. One day I may not do it because not that I couldn't do it because I was doing something else or something came up. I may not do it one day because I didn't wake up. And when I was talking, to my friend and he was, telling me when he was in the hospital and when things were touch and go with him and how he felt. Hi, Ellie, welcome. How he felt. He said that he did a lot of talking with God. He talked to God a lot. And he felt guilty. And he said that he apologized to God because, Crucible, welcome. He apologized to God because even though he had a relationship with him, he let that relationship falter. But then, he's apologizing because he's praying that he doesn't die. It's like, why do we turn to God when we are about to die or when we face death in the face? And Brina says, completely agree. When it's your time, it is your time. Brina says, it's a shame. Podbean is the only social media I can handle. Real life is so much better. And Shelby says the birthdays do come fast. Yes, yes, they do. You know, when we go through life, and again, my friend and I mean, we spent a lot of time on the phone yesterday. And I have been out to Minnesota countless times over the past couple of months to see him, mainly when he was in the hospital. And, at one point when he first got hurt, you're looking at him and, in my mind, I'm like, this may be the last time I'm going to see him breathing. And you start to think about your own mortality. And as I told you guys before, when my dad died, I thought about my mortality. When my mother died, I thought about my mortality. And my sister and I talked about it. Who was going to be the last one? Juju, welcome. If you are someone who lost your parents young, when you're a teen, whatever, do you think about your mortality then? Because the bottom line is, you can't cheat death. Some of us, you could say, you cheat death if you are, in an accident or something. You go to the hospital and they revive you and they, save you. Are you cheating death if you get a transplant? Yeah, I guess you can say that we are, in a way. But in the end, death is still going to find you. So going back to the parable, and the story that I told you guys, it's like death was in Baghdad, but he had a date in Samar with the same person that evening. You can run, but you can't hide from death. So, when you go through life, and again, I told you guys this show is going to be a bit different. When you go through life, do you have good ideas or do you have God ideas? Do you have ego goals or do you have spirit goals? I mean, there are some people who have so much money and they crave so much more that they don't even need. But they want more and more and more and more and more that they don't even spend it. Then you have those people who go around day to day, they may be pushing a shopping cart, living under the freeway or expressway, highway, whatever you call it, wherever you live. And they're just fine. They're happy. And my final question to you guys is, what what will you wonder? Not what will you do, but what will you wonder on your deathbed? When you die, okay, GP says can't cheat death if you change gender. I'm not understanding that. You know, okay, Brina says, I just hope to have loved ones are around me. But what will you wonder? What do you think will go through your mind on your deathbed? Will you wish, welcome the only crazy lady, will you wish that you had done something different? That you treated someone better? Or maybe you treated them worse? Will you wish, you had gone someplace that you always wanted to go? I mean, what will you wonder? And that's why I say take pictures, keep those photo albums, not everything in your phone, because when you go back and look at where you were when you were 2, when you were 5, when you were 10, that friend that you had in 7th grade, whatever. Now you go look back at those photos, and that's part of your life before all the noise. When you look back at your life before all the noise uh, came in, because in today's society we have a lot of noise, a lot of noise, and it's all over social media. And I don't, you can say, the media, the media, the media, the media, media, but we're all part of it. We're all part of it. No matter what you're listening to, it's all noise. And we're part of that noise. We contribute to that noise. So, how do you want to be when death finds you? What person do you want to be when it's your appointment time, when death is tapping you on the shoulder and says, time to go? You know, Rena says, I'll probably wish I didn't work so much or that I reconciled with certain people. And Rena says to Ellie, it would be a blessing to have loved ones around. GP says, I am the media. Ellie says, exactly. You deserve it, sweet. So, again, when we cut out all the noise, you're, and I sound like a cliche, but I truly mean this. You're living in true freedom, because I don't think that we are. I don't think any of us are. I don't think any of us are. I know that I'm not. You know, I've been blessed many ways. But at the same time, I'm tied down to certain things that I could probably easily let go. But what are you going to do when death finds you? So I told you guys the story about or the parable about the king and his son. And now I want to leave you, because I told you this is going to be a short show today. Let's see. And bring us to Ellie, you do too. No, GP, I don't worry about it. And Ellie says, I wish I could have done more things. I don't worry about death. I wish I could live to be 100. And I've said that. I know you guys are tired of hearing me saying that, but I don't worry about it because I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about it. I can, go out tomorrow and go to the market and not come home because I had an accident, and for some of you guys who came in late, with my friend from Minnesota, he was going, he was just out and about running some errands, and he got hit by a drunk driver who hit 3 other people, but he got it the worst. Just going out minding your own business. So no, I don't worry about death because there's nothing that I can do about it. As I said yesterday, I worry about, you always, in terms of your kids, you always want to be around. Like I said, my son could be 80 years old. If I'm still around, I'm still going to worry about it. But I don't worry about death because I can't do anything. So I want to leave you guys with a poem. It came from Chicken Soup for the Soul. if some of you guys are familiar with that book. And it was written by Nadine Stair at age 85. And it's called If I Had My Life to Live Over. And supposedly she wrote this on her deathbed. If I had my life to live over, I dare to make more mistakes next time. I'd relax. I would limber up. I would be sillier than I have been on this trip. I would take fewer things seriously. I would take more chances. I would take more trips. I would climb more mountains and swim more rivers. I would eat more ice cream and less beans. I would perhaps have more actual troubles, but I have fewer imaginary ones. You see, I'm one of those people who live sensibly and sanely hour after hour, day after day. Oh, I've had my moments, and if I had to do it over again, I'd have more of them. In fact, I tried to have nothing else, just moments. One after another, instead of living so many years ahead of each day. I've been one of those people who never go anywhere without a thermometer, a hot water bottle, a raincoat, and a parachute. If I had my life to live over, I would start barefoot earlier in the spring and stay that way later in the fall. If I had it to do over again, I would travel lighter next time. I would go to more dances. I would ride more merry-go-rounds. I would pick more daisies. And with that, I do see the rest of your comments. With that, that's my show today, guys. And I am going to leave you with a song called Price of Freedom. It's a little bit longer than what I usually play. But with that note, I will be back tomorrow. I appreciate all of you guys coming. And enjoy your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And go where the wind takes you. Okay, everyone. Again, thank you so much for coming, and I hope to see you tomorrow.